I didn't just dodge a bullet, I dodged a bazooka. I-45F was with my ex-fiancé 35M for 7 years, started dating in 2018, started living together in 2019, and engaged Christmas Day of 2022. We had what seemed to be the perfect relationship, went on lots of dates, never fought, laughed together all the time, and overall got on very well. His family was my family and my family was his. I have a 21-year-old daughter from a previous marriage and we were all one happy family. Our friends envied what we had, total trust and honesty. He was the soft, quiet type guy and acted like he was completely in love with me for all those years, so much so that people commented on how much he loves me. Fast forward to 2023, just a month after we got engaged, I started a new job at a bridal shop which was super convenient as I got a staff discount on my wedding dress and wedding planning had just begun. We set the wedding date for July 2024. Things were hectic. Things wouldn't go smoothly and we ended up changing our venue. It was almost like the universe trying to stop it. I worked on the weekends and long hours through the week to save up for this wedding, while he was off every weekend. This is important as this is how he got away with it for so long. As May of 2024 approached, my bridesmaids threw me a bachelorette party in Toronto, was super excited, especially just to escape the stress of wedding planning for a weekend. Fiancé was babysitting his sister's children that weekend so his sister could attend the bachelorette. His mother also joined us. He was acting a little strange the day I left. I asked him if something was wrong and he was just brushing it off as if he was just tired. So I leave the house to go to the celebrations. The next day, I returned home, pretty tired, so we decided to watch a movie. During the movie, he seemed super anxious. He was pacing and cleaning. I didn't think too much and had a nap on the couch. During my nap, I could hear my phone buzzing with notifications. I ignored it. When I woke up, I looked at my phone to see one of his friends was trying to send me a friend request on both Facebook and Instagram. My fiancé was at the kitchen sink doing some dishes and I asked him why, let's call her Susie, was sending me friend requests. He said I don't know, just ignore it. Now this is the same girl that was messaging him back a couple years ago talking about how bad her marriage is, and he opened the messages in front of me. I asked him why she was talking to him about it. He claimed they were friends when they lived in a different province. I told him I wasn't comfortable with it, so he said he would stop the conversation. I trusted him because, like I said, he had a really great relationship and we fully trusted each other. I had a feeling in my gut at the time that I brushed off because I thought he would never. So after seeing the friend requests, I did ignore it because I had things to do around the house and didn't think too much of it. He asked me if he could use my laptop to play a game. He never used it, so I'm assuming it's because he was hoping to delete some messages. Luckily, I don't have my apps on my laptop. A few hours later, I get a phone call from my best friend telling me that Susie was trying to get a hold of me and had reached out to my bestie to let me know. That's when I went into my messenger. Didn't see anything but noticed I had 27 missed calls and messages from Susie in my message requests. I opened the messages and my heart sank. There was about a dozen screenshots of Susie and my fiancé's conversations together. When I tell you they were bad, I physically threw up right there. I got lightheaded and dizzy. I could barely stand up, my whole body was shaking. He told her things like he loves her and can't wait to marry her someday. They talked about buying a house and he kept calling her by his last name, Susie, his last name. They even talked about enjoying drug-fueled weekends together. Now that last part is important as I later found out that she's an addiction nurse at a hospital. The messages were clear that they were definitely sleeping together. One of the last messages was him breaking things off with her and her accusing him of lying to her. I screenshotted all of the messages immediately. At the time, my fiancé was downstairs playing on his computer. I called him up to confront him. Of course he admitted it. He knew she was going to out him. After ending things with her, she said, "Oh yeah, we'll see about that." I think he knew before I even left for the bachelorette. Or he had just broken things off with her. He fully came clean with everything. I asked him specifics, and he claimed that yes, they were sleeping together, but he doesn't love her and used ChatGPT to say poetic things to her. Now looking at the screenshots, I actually believe that because it didn't sound like the way he talks. He begged and cried and said she weaseled her way in and she was just easy. Then he tried to say it was because we don't have sex often. I'm sorry, but once a week was nothing? Sure, we used to do it more frequently, but over the last year, it dwindled down to once a week due to sheer stress and exhaustion of working so much for the wedding. That night, I kicked him out of our home. The minute he left, Susie started trying to call me again over and over. I texted my fiancé to tell him he'd better get her to stop. I just went to bed, emotionally wrecked. The next morning I woke up to messages from his mom, but none from him. He had told his family the wedding was off. I opened Facebook to find he had blocked me. In the meantime, Susie had sent out messages to all of my friends and family to let them know. My family and friends started coming by and calling. Susie had just called my bestie while my bestie was sitting beside me. I told her to answer it. Susie was going crazy because my fiancé was blocking her and not answering her calls or texts. Susie told my bestie that what they have is real and they were trying to start a family together, that their relationship was going on for a whole year. So basically, a month after our engagement and as soon as I started my new job. She even told my bestie that he was with her the day I went shopping for my wedding dress with his family. When my bestie asked her about the drug-fueled weekends, she tried to say that was a joke and wouldn't do that because she's an addiction nurse. That's how we found out where she worked. She also told my bestie that her husband had found out about my fiancé and left her. They have a child together. A few days later, things were very rough for me. He came to move the rest of his things out of the house. I wasn't there, but my brother and sister-in-law were there to supervise. He cried the whole time, apologizing to them for what he did. And finally, after a few more days passed, I finally let him talk to me to explain. He came clean and let me tell you, it was much worse than what we already knew. He told me that he needed to spread his seed. I couldn't have children anymore and didn't want any more anyways. He knew this the entire relationship and agreed. He always said he was just so happy with what we already had. He proceeded to tell me that she was super easy and they made an agreement to have a secret baby together. But he then claimed he wasn't actually going to have anything to do with secret baby. I asked him what would have happened if some child showed up on our doorstep one day. He said he would have denied everything. I asked him how he was going to marry me in 2 months, knowing he was trying to impregnate someone else. He said I'm the love of his life, and he was going to marry me hoping I would never find out. I felt physically ill again. He claimed he's a spicy sleep addict. I said once a week was pretty often and normal. He said not for him. I asked him when he had time because we were together all the time and he would always come right home from work. He was seeing her on weekends in a seedy motel in another city where she lived on the weekends while I was at work. I sat there numb, wondering who this person was I almost married and thought I knew. It certainly wasn't the same person I knew days ago and for the last 7 years. He was crying and said he hopes I find someone who likes the same music I do. What? What does my taste in music have to do with anything? He left my house crying uncontrollably, saying how he didn't want us to end, and if I change my mind, please give him another chance. Over the next few days, Susie kept reaching out to my friends as I had blocked her. She started creating fake accounts to send me photos of herself in hotel room mirrors. It got to the point that it was harassment. My bestie and I did some sleuthing and found the hospital she was employed at. I sent the hospital manager an email with the screenshot of them talking about their drug weekends. The hospital set up a 1-hour meeting via FaceTime. I sent over all the screenshots. There were about 5 hospital managers in this meeting listening to the whole story, shaking their heads and apologizing to me. To this day, I don't know what came about with her job. I'm sure she was probably tested and interviewed. At the very least, humiliated having to face her superiors after that. One day shortly after, my fiancé's best friend came by to see how I was doing. He brought beer with him, proceeded to get drunk. He divulged that my fiancé's friends pretty much knew everything, the same men that were going to be groomsmen at my wedding. He divulged my ex was not in a good state and was crying himself to sleep every night. Then his best friend tried putting the moves on me physically. I told him that's not going to happen, but he had to crash on my couch because he couldn't drive. I let him stay, and the next day he apologized and asked me not to tell my ex or his ex whom I'm friends with. You know what they say, birds of a feather. It's been a little over a year now, and I'm doing much better emotionally. I had to take stress leave for a couple months when it first happened. I couldn't bear to see my wedding dress and other brides trying it on. I never heard from him or his family again, his family who I was super close with. I am seeing someone new now and things are feeling back to normal. Sometimes I still see him drive by my home and work, but I feel absolutely nothing anymore. Lately, I've been getting prank calls at work, someone whispering my name into the phone. They will call back to back all day. I suspect it's him or her. Police can't do anything about it. The call started the exact day I found out 1 year ago about the affair.